Welcome everybody to Hashtag General, where after a bunch of technical glitches, Chris and I are going to share who we all have beef with on the internet. Take that, Kanye. Our goal, Chris, should be to get on that list next.
His name is Ye.
He dropped the ka.
The ka. Okay, Ye. Ye. Is it Ye or Ye?
It'd be yay.
Yeah. Yeezy. I don't know. I love this. We were talking about it while we were fixing to whatever weird glitch decided to hit us today. And when did Kanye put out this list? Or sorry, Yay.
I don't know. It was trending right when we went, like right when I got on to start prepping this show. He had posted. He was trending on Twitter for posting a list on Instagram of the people that he has beef with.
Oh my god, Chris, can you share this list again with the class?
I can't find the full list, but on the list, the notable people on the list, because like you have your basic ones. You have your Louis Vuittons, your Kim Kardashians, your Taylor Swifts. Your basic people, and then on there is also Peppa Pig and Harriet Tubman. And it's just like, what do they do, man?
It's not only what do they do, like Evel Knievel's on there too. Like,
yeah,
I feel like half of the list is like literally my reaction would be like, what the fuck did I do?
The CEO of Zappos.
Like, not even named.
Like, what did Peppa Pig do to you, man? Like, what are you forced to watch Peppa Pig because you're kids? Like, what?
God, and then Harriet Tubman, like, how can he have a beef with Harriet Tubman?
I don't know, man. There's a weird side note. There's a so it's like a super racist joke, and he got banned for it. But like, I gotta admit, I chuckled a little bit. There's a Smash player that got suspended and banned for saying racist comments, and one of the comments was, "I feel like if I was there, I could have stopped Harriet Tubman."
Oh my god!
Which is just like like it's bad enough, and it's like weird enough of a statement where it's kind of funny.
No, it feels like early James Gunn tweets.
Yeah. It's just like, it's like, why?
Where the humor is literally to elicit the reaction of, oh my god, rather than such a droll wordplay.
Yeah, it's like shock value humor. But I don't know. I to get back to the point, I don't know if you, like, how do you hate Harriet? Like, what do you have against Harriet Tubman? She's been dead for over 100 years. Like, what?
Yeah, it's... Yeah, not only is she dead, it's just like, look at what she did with her life.
Yeah.
Like, what is your issue with her? Oh, God.
Kanye West is king, bro.
Oh. So, wait, who said that?
Someone in the chat.
Oh, someone in chat said Kanye West is king. Okay. Cool.
Maybe talking about Kanye West is how we get viewers.
So maybe we need to stop being hashtag general. Let's stop talking about geek stuff. Let's start talking about Kanye West. And does that mean I have to start listening to music that has been made after 1990?
Yeah, it probably should be the case anyway.
Like, I can't help it if most of my popular music was made before I was born. Like, we were talking about that at work. Like, the most recent album that I know I've purchased, not like added to my collection through like Apple Music, but like actually purchased with popular music from an artist, was I think like Sgt. Pepper's.
Oh my god.
But the thing is I guess the one way to put around that is complete album. I know I have purchased music more recent than that, but I've
Sure.
never purchased like the full album from an artist like
You know the
that.
Beatles broke up before I was even born, right?
Yeah, I mean they broke up. God, they man like 1970. So we're talking like almost yeah a significant amount of time before we were born. Um, but yeah, apparently Kanye is king.
Okay.
We'll give him a little island. Call him King Kanye and or King Yi the First.
Yay!
Yay! It wasn't it Yeezy for a while, or was I like completely wrong?
He makes
Yeah,
Yeezys.
shoes.
Yeah. So,
Pop culture.
woo. Um, let's. Chris, do you even have a beef list? Like, if you had to pull one out of your ass right now, would
Uh,
you even have one?
yeah. I mean, like, I don't dislike a ton of things, but like, I have some people that I beef with.
Yeah. Like, because
But
that's my
like,
thing. Is I'm like, I have people who I could like list. Like, these are people I don't like, but I don't really sit there and be like, I have a beef with this person in my life.
sure. I mean, I got a couple just because like I work in an industry that's like that, but also my industry is very small. So the people that like you have a beef with, you kind of like have to see and work with anyway. So you just kind of play nice. Um, and that ends up just being a thing. But like generally speaking, there's people that you just don't like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think we can both say Harriet Tubman will not be on our lists.
I mean, she might be. I don't know. I haven't looked. I haven't done my Harriet Tubman research to clearly make that sense.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hey, I don't want
Maybe
to just
there's like
Kanye. Maybe Kanye did the research, and there's some stuff there that like people don't know about.
like
You never
the
know. People
secret
got
history the History Channel documentary. You know how they always had those Hitler documentaries? Like the new one is like this Harriet Tubman documentary, and it's just
yeah, like
it blows everything away.
yeah. She like maybe she wasn't saving slaves to be free. She was saving them to like have them work in a coal mine. I don't know. You never know.
She was contributing to global warming.
Yeah.
Um,
We're all doing that, Logan.
shh. Okay.
Crazy shit happen, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Well, but beyond Kanye lists, what have you been up to? What have you been watching? What have you been playing? What have you been doing, Chris?
I've still been on the Legends Arceus kick. New season of TFT came out, so I'm playing that a ton. We have a new Destiny expansion coming out this week, which I'm excited for. Trying to think what else is happening. Super Auto Pets is coming to iOS on Monday, so there goes all of my productivity.
Yeah.
Just kind of your basic stuff. I mean, there's nothing really huge that happened. I know we're gonna talk about Cyberpunk in a bit. But like I was playing a little bit of that with the new update.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I played a bit of NHL 22 because hockey, and I did play some Halo with a friend last weekend. But I actually haven't been playing much because I've been getting caught up on all of the Star Wars High Republic stuff. So I've been reading all the
oh, okay.
comics and reading all the
How
books,
how
and
is it?
I really do enjoy it. I do like the idea that you could tell that they're doing a lot of world building within the books and the comics without being like
Overtly over the head with it?
overt. It isn't like the books are all world building. It's like no, there are little bits and pieces
Sure.
in each book that kind of give you an idea of how the Star Wars galaxy has changed between because we're going back like 200 years before Phantom Menace. And so there are things that are clearly different about that timeline and Phantom Menace. And then there are inferences to even 100 years prior things being different. Like, apparently, it's now a thing within the Star Wars canon that it wasn't it was relatively new that you could do a comm with someone planets away, or like a discussion
Right.
from like the core to the outer rim. And it used to be like they talked about the idea of like comm droids where you would actually have to send like a messenger just 100 years prior, which is something that I think we talked about this a bit with like the Old Republic, how High Republic is changing some of the rules about how stuff work to where Old Republic doesn't necessarily mesh anymore with how like the technology has evolved. But I think it's important. Otherwise, the big problem that Star Wars has had is this idea of technological permanence, where it's just like nothing ever changes. And High Republic is undoing a lot of that. But yeah, no, I've been enjoying them. Trying to also, while reading them, suss out if there's any hints to who the big bads are going to be in a Star Wars Eclipse, because that is set in the same timeline.
Yes.
So don't really actually have any ideas there directly, but hey, I'm sure more will come out soon, because I think they're still in phase 1, or they've just started like phase 2 of the High Republic.
Yeah, I mean, there's still this is gonna be a long arching project, and like I'm hoping that they start to expand to do like more, because right now the majority of it is all writing and like
Yeah.
comics and like print.
Well, we do know Acolyte is going to be set in the High Republic period. That's being done by the showrunner who did Russian Doll.
Yes.
And then Eclipse is also in that same timeline. So we're seeing material from that timeline break out of the books and comics. It's just going to be like a couple years away.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I've been up to. But as you mentioned, Cyberpunk, the big update finally hit.
Yeah, the one we were all waiting for.
The one we were all waiting for, the one where it was finally updated for like next gen consoles. And that's been my kind of cue, the thing I've been waiting for to jump on. Because we were talking about this briefly before we went live. Like when I played it, I was enjoying myself when I played it, but I was running into bugs.
Sure.
Like, I think this was like day 1 or 2, and I kind of just put it down being like, oh, I'm sure they'll fix this quickly. And it's been like a year and a half later, and it's just like, it seems like it's finally at the point it should have been at launch. Because I know we've talked about it on the show, and we were talking about it again before going live, where this is a game where it just really feels like it came out not fully baked and needed another year, at least a year, maybe a year and a half, in development before it came out. So, I mean, I think CD Projekt Red burned almost any goodwill that they had from coming out of Witcher.
Yeah.
With
Which
this,
they had the world. Like they could have did anything and no one would have cared. This was like the one thing that they couldn't fuck up.
yeah. And if it had come out, I think at this state at launch, I think some people would be upset, but I don't think anyone would have been like freaking out in the way where it just felt like, I mean, it was bad given all the
Yeah, you
refunds
can't,
stuff.
and the thing is, like, you can't stuff it back in the box now. Like, it's
Yeah.
kind of, it's not like, yeah, we fixed it.
Yeah, it's the same thing that I think hit Battlefront 2 with Star Wars, where it had so many problems at launch that everyone knew it as that. Like, every time that game came up in conversation, it was, oh yeah, it had this terrible launch. No matter what improvements they may have made or changes they did, like they never moved past that initial impression that the community had, which was, this is a bad launch and a money grab.
Yeah.
And it looks like Cyberpunk is still kind of, it might be saddled with that forever, but I'm going to play it. I'm probably going to enjoy myself. I know you really enjoyed it, so
I did, and yeah. So I went back and played a little bit of the update, and like, still a really good game. Like, I still really enjoyed it. It's again, it's not perfect, and it's not what like the promise of everything that they. Well, I don't want to say everything they promised because a lot of it was built up in our heads, right?
Yeah.
Um, but like, everything that they kind of showed off is in there, and like, it is a solid experience. Like I had a good time.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to like sitting down and playing it and hopefully not having AI. Because I think that was the glitch that made me go, okay, I'm gonna wait. Was I remember getting in one of those encounters you could have with a bunch of AI like thieves. They were attacking a woman. I was able to kill them, but like the woman was like frozen in her hide position, and like there was no loot. It was just like everything was broken like around that entire encounter, where I was just like, there's no cops coming, but I hear the sirens. The thieves are all dead, but I still have like the action music as if there's something left. It's just the person's still hiding. There's like no gunfire. It just was like, okay, I ran into a glitch. And that's fine. But I was just like, you know what, I'll wait. And I'm sure I'll enjoy it. Because I was enjoying the story and how it was being portrayed. So I just need to sit down and play it. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And meanwhile, just so you know, James's new toy, because I know you'll get a kick out of this, though we won't really talk about it because James is busy building it, and not really mic'd up. Um, he's being productive. Well, I'm talking into a microphone to one person who thinks Kanye is king. Um,
Did he buy a $800 Lego set?
he did not buy an $800
Oh, okay.
Lego set, which, by the way, sounds like something I could see James doing at some point in the future. Not that I can see him spending the
Is it
$800, but
weird
I
that
could
that's what?
see him
Is it
buying
weird
a
that
Lego
is it
set.
is it weird that that's where my brain went instantly when you were like new toy and he's building it?
No. I think that the problem wouldn't be that James wouldn't be interested in building the Lego. I don't think James would want to spend that amount of money on a Lego.
Sure.
That's really what it would be.
Sure.
But he is building because all of the parts came in this week.
Oh my god.
What?
Say what it is.
A 3D printer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I will say that my 3D printer has been a blessing because it gives it's a ton of fun to use and like print stuff and make stuff with. It's also been a gigantic pain in my ass.
Yeah.
It requires
what they are.
constant adjustment and constant like babysitting is the wrong word, but it requires like constant attention to make operational or like functional correctly. And then the prints just take forever to sand and finish up and stuff like that. Like it's just a time sink, but like in a fun way.
Exactly. And yeah, I don't know.
The idea of being able to
kind of
make something like very precisely is
something that
I haven't really
been able to do in the past.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like again, the flexibility and the usage of it, like I use it all the time. It's just a like, oh my god, it's a pain. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to print this really quick. It'll take like a half hour. And it's like, cool. It's gonna take me an hour to set up and calibrate. Let me like, okay, this half-hour print just went to 2 hours. Hold on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, newer printers just calibrate themselves. That's the fancy
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, so my printer's pretty old, so like maybe it's different. You might, mileage may vary, but yeah, it's awesome. I'm very happy that I have a 3D printer, so that's cool. You guys are gonna love this.
It's fun, yeah. But like one of the things the reasons I got the specific printer I did because it has like automatic bed leveling, which I hear is just kind of like the biggest pain in the ass part of using a 3D printer.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. No,
That's
I was talking yesterday about like because it's like little things you can do with it too, like how I want like basically like a controller holder to like a dock to set the Xbox controller in. And it's just like I was looking at stuff and James was like, we could just like make one. And I was just like, oh yeah. Like I don't have to sit there and like try something that's $20 on Amazon and hope it's okay. Like I can just design one or find a design online and print it. Which I think that's what's going to be most interesting about it is little things where it's like, oh, it'd be nice if we had this, and then go, well, why don't we just design it and make it? But
And I don't know. I feel like that kind of mindset is something that is going to take practice to get used to, because I've just like a couple times been in situations where I was like, oh, I could like you could if you could just print this, that would make this problem go away. Like this little tab broke off the thing or this or that, and you're like, if I like it, part of the dishwasher broke a couple months ago, and it's like the part is very expensive to buy, but you could just print that little piece probably.
Yeah, you gotta model it and figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. You have to spend like hundreds of hours making the thing, but by God, you didn't have to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see what he does. I also have some like D&D figures that we can try printing and see how it turns out. But let's move on, shall we? This one should be pretty quick, but we got the final trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The main reason I wanted to talk about it was because I don't want to say I've been avoiding stuff with Doctor Strange so much as I like haven't been going out of my way to watch stuff, but I watched the trailer and I can't tell you anything going on in it, but I just was like, this is going to look, it just looks amazing.
So, I will say that I'm the complete opposite. I've been on all the spoilers, all the leaks, all the rumors. I know way too much about this movie. The same leaker that leaked all of No Way Home's script, or like pretty much all of the plot details, also leaked this one, and the No Way Home one ended up being 100% correct. So, if it holds true, then I know the whole plot of this movie, and I'm hyped as shit. Is there anything you want explained from the trailer that like you're like
no, it just
how or
was
why or
more that I was looking at it and I'm watching it and it's just like, oh, this is gonna be just pure like chaos. Is at least
but in a good way.
But like, yeah, exactly, like a good chaos. Like this could upend a whole bunch of things. I do know there was one character who I don't think had been in the teaser, and I don't remember her name, but I did look her up. I forget the character's name, but it sounds like she has the ability to jump through the multiverse.
America Chavez. Yeah, so America Chavez's power is that he punches she punches holes in the multiverse. So she punches holes like portals into other dimensions.
That can't cause problems.
Yeah, so she was supposed to be a major factor in Spider-Man. That's why like she's in a lot of the concept art. But they had to adjust it because then Spider-Man came out after or before.
Because of Sony's distribution schedule.
Yeah, because they flipped the schedule on them. Because Doctor Strange got delayed, but then Spider-Man did not get delayed. Yeah, but Spider-Man did not get delayed. So then it flipped it so that Spider-Man or Doctor Strange came out after. So America Chavez was not introduced into Spider-Man yet, or was not introduced into the universe yet.
I think that's okay. I don't know if Spider-Man could have dealt with one more character. Like there was already a lot going on in that movie, and I really did enjoy it. And I can't imagine adding that extra character would have added to it. To where I could see it. It was one of those things where maybe it's just because it happened early enough in the process that they were able to rewrite it to where it wasn't an issue. But I can't see how they could add that character in and have it not be like another like 10 minutes an explanation. So I'm okay with that.
I mean, and I will say that America Chavez in the comics, at least, I don't know how they're portraying her here. In the comics, she's a wonderful character. But yeah, she's it should be a lot of fun having her around, and like she's going to be a huge major linchpin into this sort of multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
And from what I can tell, the actress that's playing her is really, really fun. So.
Yeah, and then you might already know this or not. I do think that is Patrick Stewart.
Oh yeah, that is 100% Patrick Stewart. Did you see
Yeah.
his interview that he did?
No.
So he was doing press for Picard, and
Yeah,
someone
that's a
asked,
thing still.
and someone asked him about it, like, "Is that you in the trailer?" And he goes, I've gotten so many calls from people, some people that I don't even, aren't even that close to, asking if that's me, and I told them I'm just sitting here ready to watch football. That can't be me. I'm here on the couch, and so that can't be me, but we'll see.
Oh, Patrick Stewart.
So yeah, it's I again, spoilers. I don't know if you got the sense of this, because it's very clear that they're doing Illuminati.
Yeah, the moment it was him, or the moment it was like looked like it was him and all that stuff going on, I'm like, okay, this has got to be Illuminati, which
Yeah,
is
so they're doing Illuminati, and like obviously a multiversal Illuminati. Um,
yeah,
so that's sort of the thing. And again, like the thing again, I don't usually believe like full plot leaks because those are usually wrong. But the thing is, with the full plot leak, if you line it up side by side with the trailer, you could line up every scene in the trailer with something that's in the plot leak.
sounds like this guy has a really good source.
Yeah, and again, like the you can line it up one to one, and like it all fits. And again, this plot leak came out like months ago, so it's like even like he didn't even have the trailer to like go off of here.
Yeah, I wonder if Marvel's doing like Apple with leaks, if they're just like scrambling to figure out who is leaking stuff.
I don't know, but yeah, it's pretty intense. Like it's a lot. This movie is going to be insane, and I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, no, it was a teaser. I watched it twice and was just like, this just can't tell you what's going on, but it just looks so intriguing. Also knowing like the talent behind it,
Yeah,
like
Raimi.
Raimi, it's just like this is gonna just be a wonderful disaster. And by disaster, I mean disaster for the characters in the movie, not that the movie itself is a disaster.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I think it's gonna be really interesting because it just between Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, like there that can upend so many things. Plus, just every little other little thing that's going on in here, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is about to go undergo a major switcheroo.
Yeah.
But also, Moon Knight looks interesting. I know that also had a teaser. Then again, Oscar Isaac is just one of those actors who he's just so damn good. So that's next month, right?
Yes, it starts in March 6th, I want to say.
So we'll of course be talking about it here. Um, but let's move on to the other big trailer from the big game that everyone was talking about. So moving along to TV. I don't know if Jim's caught that.
I have thoughts about this trailer, by the way.
I've only watched it once. I love to hear your thoughts. I only because my immediate thing with this was I like we have talked. I the idea of being cautiously optimistic is how we feel about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
And
I
this
still have that.
Yeah, this
and-
trailer I watched it.
Go for it.
Yeah, I watched it and immediately was like, okay, I'm still in the cautiously optimistic. It looks right, and then I just didn't watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, so I watched it. I watched it obviously on TV, with a ton of people, with people around, and like not really focused because I was like, oh, football, and then people are here, so I was like, I'm not really watching it closely, but I was like, that's a cool trailer. And then when I went back and watched it more closely, it was something where it's like, we didn't talk about it. Like, did we talk about the full Halo trailer?
No, I don't think we did. I think
Okay, so like the Halo trailer has this air. Okay, preface. let me preface this. This trailer isn't as bad as the Halo trailer, right?
No.
And it's not as egregious of an example that I'm going to give here, but like the Halo trailer very very much feels like, oh, this is a TV CG movie. Like this is a sci-fi channel movie, right? Like that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah,
It's like
a low budget
right.
cable program. Yeah,
It's like a
I
very
agree.
it's a very high quality one, but like it has that feel, right? And like this has shots in it where I look at the CG and I go, "Ooh, I know this is a TV show." And I'm like, "I
Yeah,
don't like that." And I was like, "I don't like that." Especially with how much money Amazon's putting behind this. I was like, "I don't like that I can tell that this is a TV show." Um, cuz like
I
there's moments in like, and I again, all of them have that, right? Like Mando has that, Book of Boba Fett has that, like all the Marvel shows have moments like that where I'm like, oh, this is like clearly not up to cinema budget. But like the Disney Marvel stuff is and the Star Wars stuff is not as like I'm like, oh, this is very polished and like this is as close as you could get to like being cinematic without being like campy.
They
Like that's it.
also are smaller scale.
Sure, it comes off as like really campy when I look at like the Halo trailer and like some moments of the um Lord of the Rings trailer where I'm like, oh, this like it looks like a TV show. Oh, I don't like that. Like it just comes off as like not half-assed because like I know it wasn't and I know the amount of money that they're putting behind this, but man, like it just did not it does not look good in moments.
Yeah, I didn't look too closely at the CGI. I've seen a lot of people make that comment. My Again, only really watched it the one time through. I took it as there were sequences that looked CGI, but they also looked like they were trying to approximate what the movies looked like. And
Sure.
so I'm wondering how much of it is that they're trying to make it mesh in appearance a movie
Oh,
that came
to
out
the
20 years ago.
sure. But like
And
even then, like you would never call Lord of the Rings like say that it
bad.
looks like a TV show.
Yeah.
Like
Um
I'm talking about stuff where it's like very smooth textures that like
yeah.
you're like, oh, this looks like it needed an extra 2 days to render, my dude. Like,
Excuse me.
and again,
Yeah.
like I know that's not the case because I know the amount of work and the amount of money that's being put into this, and like it's
And some
not.
of the companies that are working on it,
Yeah,
they're not small time effects houses.
a hundred
Um,
percent.
so I think it's a case of maybe it's something to worry about, but a full, um, we're a full, God, 9 months away from it, right? No, it,
Yes,
8 now? March,
something
April,
like that.
May, June, July, August. Okay, so we're like 6 months away. Like
Yeah,
that's actually quite a lot of time and effects.
yeah. Again, like
So
the trailer when you look at it though, it just looks like it needs more time to bake. Like, and again, they have more than enough time to fix it. It's just a matter of like, in terms of we all know like winning the first impression battle is so important, and like this
yeah,
wasn't it, fam. Like this wasn't it.
yeah. I got the sense from this trailer, and one of the reasons why I only watched it the one time is I'm like, this is just like the trailer to introduce it, so people who don't know that there's a TV show coming, if they exist. I mean, in our world, they likely don't, but there are definitely people out there who wouldn't have known about it. And I got the feeling that this trailer was for that. More of
Yeah,
the, hey, everybody, there's a Lord of the Rings TV show. We're going to not tell you really anything about it. We're going to just show you some shots, try to make it look epic, and that's it. So I am not comfortable going off and saying this is what the show's going to be like because we haven't been given enough.
sure.
Um
It's
I
just
wouldn't.
it scares me.
Yeah. Like, I think this is another instance of this could easily, like, there's a reason why we have been saying cautiously optimistic for a while, is we can see all the ways this can go bad. And we haven't seen anything yet to put those concerns away.
Yeah.
And then I think one thing I picked up from the Vanity Fair piece, if you haven't read it yet, Chris, it's kind of
I saw it. I've saw it. I've seen it passed around. I haven't looked at it yet.
There's not much in there. It's one of those early
I
look
figured.
things.
Yeah.
The thing I did find interesting is it does look like the Tolkien estate has some oversight in terms of whether or not they write something. So they don't have to, they can basically go off book, but it can't contradict anything. And the Tolkien estate has some oversight, which could become a problem. But that was an interesting bit I caught. And another thing is apparently part of the agreement with Amazon was a 5-season order, which I didn't know. So if they even cancel it, I think they still have to pay the Tolkien estate as if they shot 5 seasons. So I think as much as we keep talking about it being like, this is a big gamble, I think it's an even bigger gamble than we realized. It sounds like Amazon is all in on this and going for 5 seasons. And then the other big news in Lord of the Rings space, which I think makes it even more interesting, is, God, I think it was last week the news broke. The Saul Zaentz company, for those of you who don't know the name, it wouldn't surprise me at all. He is a producer who didn't do much, but he bought the film rights to The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. They're selling the film rights to The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and TV rights. Like they are spinning off Middle-earth Enterprises, which was the man had died, I want to say a decade ago, but they had a division of his company that was Middle-earth Enterprises that just handled the Tolkien properties, and they are looking to sell it for $2 billion, which I think ties in directly to my comment that I've said many times that I think this Lord of the Rings series was Amazon dipping their toe in to see if it was worth paying for the rights to license like a Lord of the Rings, like an actual factual Hobbit and Lord of the Rings TV series. And lo and behold, those rights are now up for sale, just sale, like not license the right. It is for $2 billion. We will sell you the rights to the series.
Right.
And at that price tag, there aren't that many places that have that kind of money who would be willing to shell out for it. Because I don't see Warner Brothers or HBO doing that. If they were willing to do that, they would have bought Lord of the Rings rights instead of Amazon.
Sure.
I think this is kind of unless Apple or Disney, which I don't see Disney doing this because they already have all their franchises. Unless they really want to play upset, I think that is basically was a very subtle hint to Amazon to be like, you can buy us. I have a feeling we're going to see sometime in the next year a deal being reached between them to where the rights are going to land at Amazon, which I think if they're willing to gamble at this point $500 million on this show, with talking about it being 5 seasons, and it ties into the whole Rings saga, like it's, there's a whole thing about sunken cost fallacy, but it isn't like Amazon is hurting for money. And apparently this is another bit. Jeff Bezos is a fan of Tolkien.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be another Expanse type thing where the big boss wants it, likes it, and is going to buy it, which leads us to a whole other conversation about, wealth, but bypassing that conversation, it's kind of seems like a gimme that they're going to go for it. So, and if that happens, I would not be shocked if 10 years from now, we're talking about a Lord of the Rings TV show and casting about, Frodo. I think it's kind of inevitable at this point. And as much as the TV series is trying to from its appearance be, reminiscent of the movies, they have been very, very, I'd say, deliberate in
Making them
talking about
different.
it as an influence, but not in like making sure damn well that they're not saying that it is canonical or
Yeah, they've been very
like,
clear.
yeah, like this is the end game. Like basically, the whoever runs the Saul Zane's estate wants money.
This is the end game.
Yeah, like the end game is coming a year or two earlier than I would have thought, and it's for the whole bag of marbles, not just like the rights to play with them. So yeah, I think that's kind of an inevitable thing, but I think that makes all of the Lord of the Rings news that much more interesting.
Oh,
But
it definitely makes it more interesting. It doesn't quell my concerns,
oh
but it
no,
makes it more
doesn't
interesting.
quell my concerns, but it makes it more interesting. I though do think one of the big takeaways I have is just how already the trolls are out. I don't know if you caught this, but the YouTube comments for the Rings of Power teaser was like slammed by bots.
Yeah, of course.
And a lot of the criticism going around is the fact that there are non-white actors in the show. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
Um
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. It reminds me of the arguments going on when the first teaser came out for Force Awakens, and a bunch of people were upset and up in arms because stormtroopers can't be black.
Yeah.
It just feels like that all over again. But way to suck all the fun out of it, assholes.
Hey man, Harriet Tubman. They
She's
also
actually
have beef.
she
They also
runs
have beef with Harriet Tubman.
she runs secret bot accounts. That's why she's running secret bot accounts that plague Yee's every tweet.
Yay, Logan. Yay.
I don't know if it's yay or yee, and I'm just going with whatever. Someone I'm sure on the internet will correct me because that's what the internet does. But I'm sure I'm going to get told yes, I'm right, and no, you're wrong. But how do you know, James?
He's a Yee fan.
He's a Yee fan. That explains his shoes. I don't. I can't, we just talked about James like not being wanting to spend money on Legos. I can't see him being a sneakerhead ever. Let's move on, shall we, to Star Wars. Real quick, first before we dive into Book of Boba Fett, we have a release date and a poster for Obi-Wan. A bunch of people were upset that it's not on May the 4th.
Yeah,
But it's May
but I mean,
25th, which is also like the day that Star Wars was released in theaters in 1977. So, okay.
it also opens the door for them to do something else on May 4th. I don't know what it would be, but like I could see them making some other huge announcements that they don't want to overshadow with Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, if there's going to be major update, like let's kind of run through that. We know we could get updates to anything from Star Wars Eclipse to Knights of the Old Republic. There are a bunch of other games in development that we don't know much details for. Like I think it's Ubisoft is working on one where we just kind of know it exists. We could get a trailer for Obi-Wan that day. We could get stuff for Mandalorian because season 3 we should be it'd be really early to get stuff.
Yeah.
But another thing where everyone's like, "Oh, the
You mean
25th is so
we
late."
we did get Mandalorian season 3. It's called Book of Boba Fett. The last 3 episodes.
True, but also another thing with it coming out the 25th, a celebration, is that weekend.
Yeah.
So even if they don't do anything major for May the 4th, like we could get all those updates that weekend with celebration.
Yes.
Which I am still like waiting for them to actually announce when tickets are going to go back on sale. Like I don't know what
Where
the
is it
story
this
is.
year?
It's in Anaheim because the Anaheim one was
Oh,
the one that
we
got
gotta
canceled. I know. I've been checking their website. I want to say like every few weeks to be like, do we have an update on when they're going to go on sale? No. Do we have an update? No.
We should just go to Disneyland and then go to Star Wars. Just go to Celebration too.
Yeah, like that's kind of my thought. Is I'm like I want to go to go to Disneyland at the same time as Celebration. good God, Galaxy's Edge would probably be an absolute blast that weekend. Like,
Or a
it'd be,
nightmare.
or a nightmare. It could be a nightmare, but everyone who's going to be there is also probably there for Celebration.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be fun. Um, so we're probably going to see a lot in May. And then Celebration, we should get a whole lot more because just
They're
yeah,
kind of
it's
nature things.
everyone. If Celebration wasn't happening, I could see them trying to do it all on May the 4th. But since Celebration is happening, they got to hold out some stuff for the people who have paid money to show up.
Yeah.
So that might mean a quieter May the 4th this year, but it isn't like May is going to not be filled with Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. I'm excited.
But yeah. And I'll let you know once I find out about tickets because Lord knows I want to go. But let's go to Book of Boba Fett and our spoiler-tastic conversation about it. James, are you going to want to disappear again? Okay. He's putting on noise-canceling headphones.
James, has James started it at all?
I don't think he started it. I don't know why he hasn't started it, but he just hasn't yet. I do know he's been busy with work, so that might be it. But what were you... I just gotta say, if that Rancor isn't named Khan.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a very weird ending. It's very weird, like 'cause we talked about everything else before. But yeah, the ending's very strange. I still don't like the. Okay, I don't like all the cyberpunk kids except for the girl. I think she's a cool character. I think if they just had one cyberpunk kid and it was her, that's fine. The other ones are all kind of weird and they have weird spin moves.
They're just there.
They're just there. Um,
She's an actual character. The rest are extras.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. The ending's weird. I do like the Boba Mando team up moments that are fun. But yeah,
Even the musical cue too.
Yeah, like that's all super fun. I love all the stuff with like I love the moment of Boba writing something down and sending the guy out to go like negotiate and he hasn't read the thing.
He hasn't read the thing and it's basically just like a go to hell.
Yeah, and it's really like I think like moments like that are really funny and like really really kind of the tone of the show that I want. But yeah, it was okay. Like again, that's not bad. It's okay. I think the bad part is like again, and maybe this is just me, and I don't know how you feel about this. Mando has quickly become my favorite Star Wars character. Like I just love that character so much.
It's anytime he's on screen, he takes attention away.
Yeah, and like it's the thing where like again, because he's my favorite character, I don't know if it's a me thing, but like I just don't I care about his story way more, and like I don't the coolest stuff to me is like the Grogu coming back and then like them going through this whole process. Like that's more fun to me.
Yeah, it kind of goes to the thing we brought up, I want to say last time, which is it a problem if the best episodes of the series are the ones where the titular character isn't in them?
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed it overall, but after watching it, my immediate thought was this reminded me of some of the Marvel comic runs of the one-offs where I wouldn't say that any of them were like bad. There wasn't anyone I read and was like, this is utter garbage. But there were some where I'm just like, I'm probably never reading this one again. Not because again it's bad, but because it just it was okay. Like the one that I immediately thought of was like the Chewbacca run when they did that standalone Chewie story. It's not a bad comic run, but it just like you could skip it and kind of be okay.
I feel the same way about Lando.
Yeah. The Lando comics, I
'Cause I
agree.
actually really loved that comic. I think that was great. It was a lot of fun, and I remember them fondly, but I'm never gonna read them again.
Yeah, like they're great. They add some depth to the character, like more about him and Lobot, like great. But like they don't really like move anything forward. It was just like, oh, this is a fun adventure with that guy.
Yeah,
And I think the one thing is I think the reason why we got Book of Boba Fett is they were planning and plotting everything, and they realized there was going to be a time gap where Grogu couldn't be with Mando. So they needed to, like, they knew stuff would be happening then. But does that mean that they could have just flat out gone, like, could those first three episodes of Book of Boba
that
Fett
first
gone away?
well, like my thing is, if that was your concern, then like you could have just did those that first episode, like the three
Uh,
episodes that have Mando in them. You could have just made those the like you could have just made those like one episode of The Mandalorian,
yeah.
right? Like, there's nothing stopping them from doing that.
So yeah, it's just like that's kind of how I felt while going through it. It's like there's nothing I would sit there and be like, oh man, this like I enjoyed it, I liked it, but I think kind of is why I immediately went to like those comic books again. I think you're spot on with Lando comics, where it's not that they're bad or not enjoyable, but so much as they are, I don't know if they're going to be on like my rotation of I have to watch it again.
Yeah.
I could totally see if you doing a Mandalorian rewatch, going, okay, well, right, well, we know stuff happened in Book of Boba Fett, so let's just go ahead to the Return of the Mandalorian and then just watch those 3 episodes,
Yeah.
and then go straight into season 3 of Mando. It is. These episodes are like Clone Wars, where there are some arcs where, like, you know how I did that whole full breakdown, which
Yeah.
I did a rewatch of Clone Wars recently, which could have talked about in watching point. Because I'm reevaluating the list I put together because it hasn't taken into account season 7.
Sure.
And Book of Boba Fett, I think, falls into my category of I would list those episodes, but wouldn't list them as like must watch.
Yeah.
Like, hey, these are fun, and if you want to be like a completionist, you should watch these ones. But I wouldn't consider them essential
That's what you're.
to the story.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think again, it comes down to a thing of the show's called Book of Boba Fett. He's not the most interesting or fun character to watch on screen.
Yeah, I think
But
'cause you're right.
apparently too, the thing that was interesting is like that the people that are complaining about like, oh, they ruined the character or whatever. I was like, no, I actually think he was actually just a boring character that everyone built up in their heads, and then they tried to give him as much character and story as possible. I just don't think he's that interesting.
Yeah, I think Boba as a character is more interesting when he was young, given what they did with Clone Wars, where you could tell it's
Yeah.
just this kid trying to find his way. And they actually tie into that a bit with the series, with the showdown being Cad Bane, because Cad Bane was one of the bounty hunters who took Boba under his wing.
By the way, not dead. By the way,
Is that confirmed or theory?
well, when he dies or like when Boba shoots him or whatever, the the red like like life support thing starts flashing, and they do the close up.
Oh.
They do the close up on him, like you know how they do like the pan in on him laying there. The red like life support thing on his chest starts flashing red.
So he might still be alive.
Yeah,
Huh.
interesting side note.
I thought Cad Bane was dead. But yeah, bringing in Cad Bane, like they even tied it in because Cad Bane was one of those bounty hunters who kind of looked out and taught Boba how to be a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
But I always got the sense, at least from some materials, that the relationship was known to have soured.
Sure.
One thing I gonna give was listening to got Full of Sith, which is a Star Wars podcast. And they brought up the fact that Boba, using the techniques he'd been taught by someone like Cad Bane, doesn't beat Cad Bane, but the moment he starts using the ones he learned from the Tusken Raiders, he wins. Which is, I think, kind of an interesting thing, where it's this idea that Boba Fett has kind of moved past and grown past his bounty hunting days. Which is kind of an interesting take. But you're right. Boba Fett is a character where a lot of the interest in him was the fact that he kind of is just present in the background, very quiet, and you know he's dangerous.
Yeah. And as soon as you give that personality, then all that facade goes away, right? And then, like, is this actually a fun and interesting character? And like personally, I think he is, right? Like, I actually like the more fun and like snarky aspects of him. And like, I like the fact I like that he loves animals. Like, I like that he's a super nerd for animals. Like, that's funny to me. That's like endearing to me.
Yeah. He's.
You know.
Have you read any of the Bounty Hunter run that they've started doing back 2020?
No, I did not.
Boba Fett has a bit of that snark in the comics.
Yeah.
Like you can even say like the line, "He's no good to me dead." Like we get hints of like Boba. It's just he's very quiet. Because he's probably also very quiet because he's with Vader and he knows.
Yeah, don't
like,
talk.
Don't talk. Don't do anything. Don't say anything. Because if it goes wrong, I'm fucked. But yeah, it's just, I think the big thing, as much as there's a bunch of people upset by it, I think it's okay if there's Star Wars content that you just like, you can watch once or you might rewatch again every once in a while. That's fine. It doesn't have to be amazing every single time. My whole thing is I want the universe to be bigger.
Yeah.
And truth be told, it wouldn't shock me at all if this came about because they went, you know what? And this is probably what it is. I would bet that what happened is Filoni and Favreau were like, we want to do a story with just Boba Fett. Let's just do it. I would not be shocked at all if that's what happened. Is that they just decided to go for it because they knew they could get away, that they could do it, and that no one would object or stop them. Sure. Because to our thing of, well, like the last 3 could have just been season 3 of Mando. That may have been the plan initially.
They were like, shit, we ran out of runtime. What do we fill this show with?
Yeah. Let's build out Boba more, which is a very big case of giving kind of the people what they want.
But I don't think this is what I don't think people.
No, this is not what people
wanted.
Yeah, but it was the character. It's kind of like how Obi-Wan Kenobi is the character everyone's clamored for more stuff from. Boba Fett was another one of those characters everyone's like, oh, we need more Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Though I can totally see if they decide to go back to Boba Fett to give the people what exactly they want, which is Boba Fett going around being the big bad bounty hunter. Grab Daniel Logan, and who played Boba in Attack of the Clones. He'd probably be more than happy to put on the suit again, and because he never wore it in the movies, but I'm sure he'd be down to play a younger bounty hunter Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Because if there's any one thing I want them to do more with is they were hinting pretty heavily that they were going to do like a Star Wars underworld type multi-movie type thing where it was going to be like Solo was going to kick it off, but there'll be a bunch of tie-ins, like as close to the MCU as they can get, all set in the Star Wars underworld pre A New Hope. And honestly, that'd be a perfect. Like, what if we got another Boba Fett, where instead of Book of Boba Fett, it's just Boba Fett, and it's young Boba Fett, 10 years before A New Hope, going and finding his dad's armor, repainting it, and establishing his reputation.
Yeah. They could be really fun.
Yeah. Like, do it. I'd watch it. Then again,
I mean, you heard the rumors about the clone, like the Captain Rex thing, right?
no.
So Tamora wants to come back and do
Oh, yeah.
clones.
I've seen that.
Yeah, so there's a rumor of a live action Captain Rex show.
That could be interesting. That could be really interesting.
Yeah.
But and I meant to bring this up when we talked Obi-Wan. Speaking of people showing up, the fact that you sent me this the other day, the Grand Inquisitor has been cast
Yeah.
in Kenobi, and I'm just like, what is this show going to be? Like, every idea I had for what this show was going to be, the more stuff
out the
comes
window.
out, the more I'm just like, I have no idea.
Well, the rumor is that there is a rumor that they're going to do a lot of flashback stuff with Anakin.
Makes sense.
They're gonna do a lot of like Clone Wars era flashback stuff, which could be really fun. And then a lot of apparently it came out today that Vader and Obi-Wan are gonna fight twice in the show. So I don't know where that's happening or what happening, but that's a thing.
I mean, it doesn't violate anything. You should not have come back. The line Vader gives Obi-Wan doesn't necessarily mean it has to be 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, he could have tried to come back and kill him earlier. So.
Yeah.
Super interesting. I'm very excited for it. This is one of the projects that was kind of the most jazzed for. So.
Yeah. Then again, I totally would have
done. And again, Deborah Chow has directed some of my favorite episodes of The Mandalorian, so I'm very excited.
No, the more Deborah Chow in Star Wars, definitely. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll see more here soon. I wonder though too if Kenobi's going to just be one of those instances where they're just like, no trailer, here it is.
I mean, they might. Everyone, because the thing is, like, does a trailer do anything for that show?
I don't think so.
You know what I mean? Like it all it can do is ruin it, right? Like,
I don't think a trailer would add anything. I think it's one of those instances where all of the marketing, they could wait and do it until the day it's out. Like Kenobi now on Disney Plus, because I think the Star Wars fan community is like anyone who was going to be interested already knows about it.
Yeah.
If they are connected.
By the way, one of my favorite pieces of like media advertising that I've seen in a very long time, there was a Twitter ad for the Book of Boba Fett, and it was like, watch the Book of Boba Fett, and it was all clips of the Mandalorian. It was all Din just doing random shit, but it was like, watch the Book of Boba Fett.
Here's Grogu.
Yeah, it's all. It was really funny.
I love Pele, like hearing the name Grogu, and it's like, oh, that's a terrible name.
Yeah, it's really funny.
She was like, I found her.
She's grown on me.
Yeah, exactly. Like every time she reappears, she grows on me even more. So she's gone from being like she's a bit much to, okay, can we get more of her, please? Like, she's dated a Jawa. She was totally flirting with our Twi'lek administrator.
Yeah.
Like, uh yeah, we could get her in more stuff, and I would be absolutely okay with that. Uh, but yeah, it should be interesting to say the least how at least Obi-Wan plays out, because it's clearly bigger than I ever thought it would be. Like,
Yeah.
I sat there and figured Kenobi was gonna be like 4 hours. It might deal with like Kenobi versus like Jabba's thugs, especially with like the drought that's supposed to be taking place in Tatooine, while Luke is growing up. Tatooine, of course, being a desert. When is it not a drought? But it's clearly bigger than that. But
Yeah, there's something else going on.
yeah, there's got to be something else going on. And I think one hint to this too is because something I've always found interesting with Rebels is that Obi-Wan knows Ezra's name.
He's connected to the Force.
Connected somehow. He knows stuff is going on. So it wouldn't shock me at all if he's still in contact with Bail Organa.
Sure.
I
mean, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah. But God, you know what else we don't have anything info on that we'll probably see around either May the 4th or Celebration? Andor.
Yeah. There's no idea. We have no idea what that is yet.
But I'm looking forward to that one. I think it's been confirmed that it's without K2SO, at least the first season.
Sad.
I have a feeling we're gonna see. I have a feeling we're gonna get K2SO at the end of the season.
Oh, that's when he gets the droid and reprograms it or whatever.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to be at the end of the season as he gets the droid and reprograms it. It makes sense that if they're not going to have K2SO in the entire run, I think it makes sense to do that at the end of the first season. Also, who's going to say no to Alan Tudyk?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's such a wasted opportunity. It's like having a Han movie, but like he gets Chewie at the end.
Yeah. At least Solo gave him Chewie like in the beginning.
Yeah. Like it's super, like it's critically important to the character. I feel like that relationship is really important to Cassian, but yeah. Who knows? We don't really know much about the character anyway, so
no,
it's all right. They can build it how they want. I feel like that was like such a key part of that movie. Like that relationship was such a key part of that movie. But
yeah, no, that one's been in production. I have no idea if...
Dude, that show's been in production a long time. They've been like... I feel like they're sitting on that one.
I think they might be. It also is one of those instances where I think it was prepping when COVID first hit, so it wouldn't shock me at all if it got delayed a few times to where we're like, it's been in production forever, when it actually, in terms of the actual amount of time spent on it, is probably normal, but I think it went through a few delays. Just very quietly would be my assumption. I don't know. Sure. But then another one we don't really know much about, which who knows if it started shooting. Dude, there's also Ahsoka. There is Rangers of the New Republic. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we. So
Ahsoka, I know, is in production soon.
It must be, given the casting news.
Yeah, I've seen a ton of news that like they're starting to shoot, or getting ready to start to shoot.
Yeah. Like, I have a feeling that's next on the Filoni Favreau slate after Mando season 3, which has already been announced as I think end of December. So
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Lots to be excited about, but I think that does it for now. Unless there's anything more you got to add.
No, nothing I can think of.
Cool. I'm going to wave at James to see if he notices. Give him a thumbs up. We're talking about Boba Fett. So we're going to wrap this up. Please like, share, subscribe, do all the fun things you're supposed to do on the internets. Leave a comment. Talk about how Kanye is king. Apparently that is going to be, you know what? If I was still naming episodes, that would be the name of this episode. Maybe I'll just name it Kanye is king when I finally take care of stuff. But please like, share, subscribe, do all the fun things. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always email us at feedback@quality3.net. I do actually get that email. Though no one writes to it. Please write to me. Please. Otherwise, everyone, please stay safe. Take care. We will see you all in 2 weeks.